All right, welcome to Saturday versus Sunday. I'm John Barban, and the Iamaleava family is the gift that just keeps on giving. So now we're going to be talking about an article by Brandon Marcello on CBS Sports. I think it just hit a few hours ago, and it's about the Arkansas AD, Hunter Yurachek. I guess he posted on social media saying that he supports the Arkansas collective in potentially taking action against Madden Iamaleava on a buyout or any buyout that may have been in his contract. So I haven't seen the contract. He hasn't posted about any specifics in the contract, but the article goes on to point out that it's common now, at least at the Arkansas collective, and I'm sure at many of these other collectives, for a buyout to be included, some kind of buyout language in the contract. And essentially, the example would be, let's just say he signed for $1 million. He shows up in January and he gets the $1 million. But let's say within that contract, the terminology is that you're here for 1 year, or the contract goes for a year, and that's what the $1 million is for, fulfilling certain NIL duties for the year, which we all know is just pay for play, but whatever. So he enrolls in January, and he's already gone. We're in April, and he's already left Madden. He's already left for UCLA. So depending whatever the language is, if there's buyout language at all, again, this is just kind of working off of what the article says. It doesn't include if there's specific language, but it's possible in any of these contracts. Speaking of anybody, any of these players who've signed one of these, it could be that they owe the money that they got at the beginning. They owe some of it back if they're not there for the full year. So in this case, if he was only there for 4 years or 4 months, it's possible he'd owe more than half of that money back. The article goes on to say some of these NIL deals do have a buyout language in them, but players have just been ignoring it thus far. So, I mean, this whole story with Nico and his brother, and who knows, maybe Nico might even owe money to Tennessee now if he didn't fulfill all the way through whatever the terms were of his deal, like each year long, and if he got paid up front but didn't fulfill the number of years it was supposed to for however much money he got. So we don't know, but the point is, it seems as though this is becoming more of a thing where the athletic department is maybe encouraging the collective to sue the players for the buyback if they're not actually making good on the buyback. Now, this is where this whole thing gets totally screwed up, because the school isn't the collective. The school never gave the player the money. And on the books, the money was never to play football. The money was for signing autographs and some other bullshit that they call NIL. So we all know what it's for. Everyone knows what it's for. Everyone's doing this pretend like, no, it's just for name, image. He's just signing some, or he's promoting some local car dealership, and the school can't say it's to play at the school, but that's exactly what it is. So it's the school can't go after them because it's not the school's money. And the collective, I mean, is it even legally binding if a bunch of boosters and donors who were dumb enough to dump a bunch of money into a collective to give to a bunch of mercenary kids now that we're seeing, just hoping they're going to play for their school? So it may not even be enforceable. I mean, we don't know. There's not enough data. There's not enough information in this article. And in general, I just don't think we know enough. I'm sure people close to these collectives do know this sort of thing. But at this point, it's not a for sure thing. If, at least in this particular case, there is buyout language, and if any amount of money is owed back. But the point is, I think, as messed up as this is, and as bad as the optics are for these two kids, Nico and Madden, this situation with them may be the best thing for college football, because it's shining a light on how screwed up all of this is, and whether or not this same thing is happening with other kids at other schools. And it's just not as high profile as these two. So this might hopefully be the precedent setting, the inflection point where everyone involved, I've said this in another video, but I'll say it again, where everyone involved has to now face how screwed up college football is with the NIL and with the 2 transfer portals, and finally get something that's cohesive, where we can stop this player mercenary renting a player 6 months at a time, come and go whenever they please, get paid by a collective that has nothing to do with the school, and the school can't force them to stay, and all of the crap that we're seeing. Hopefully, it turns out that the Iamaleava kids are the lightning rods that end up reforming this to the point where I'm all for players making money, but you've got to make good on something to actually make the money. And let's just actually be upfront that it's pay for play, like what is coming if this house settlement ever happens. There's going to be revenue sharing that is going to be money coming from the school, so that's going to be on the table. But that doesn't mean NIL is going away. So at some point here, it's just got to be a formalization of a contract, which means you're here for a certain number of years, and if you leave, you get none of that money. But maybe even somewhere in there, you have the rights to trade the player. Like something else has to happen here, because right now it's weighted too heavily in favor of the players doing whatever they want with no consequences. And I've also spoken about this, where this situation is teaching these players and these kids all the wrong lessons for what's going to happen in the rest of their life. Because in the rest of their life, they are not going to be able to hold their employer hostage every 6 months for more money. And without even proving anything. Like, at least Nico played a season. Now, it's not like he was the Heisman Trophy winner, but at least it was a season. They made it to the playoffs. His brother's coming and going from different schools and bouncing back in UCLA, then Arkansas, then back to UCLA. And he said he was homesick. Like, who wants the leader of their team to be someone who says they're homesick? Anyways. But at some point, if they're going to get paid big boy adult money, they got to start acting like adults. And this might be enough of a spotlight to force everyone involved to formalize this into something that sure, they can get paid, but they got to make good on their contracts. And let's just have it above board that, yes, you're being paid to play at this school. And if you showed up, you have to make good. You have to stay for as long as they say, or you lose all of the compensation. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. It's this story is just not going to go away. I mean, maybe this is the end of the story, but I don't know. We'll see. Catch you later.